They took my house away from me and wanted to sell it. They didn't know it was part of my plan. I never thought I would become homeless in my own lifetime. Not after working for 42 years. Not after paying off every loan. Not after raising my children under that very roof. Yet there I was, standing outside my own house, watching strangers walk in and out like it already belonged to them. My name is Daniel Brooks. I was 68 years old when my son and daughter-in-law decided I was no longer useful. It all started when my wife passed away. For 45 years, Margaret and I lived in that house. We bought it when our son Eric was 3 years old. We painted the walls ourselves. We planted the apple tree in the backyard when Eric turned 10. Every corner of that house held memories, birthdays, Christmas dinners, late-night talks, and even arguments that ended in laughter. When Margaret died of a heart attack, the house became too quiet. Eric started visiting more often. At first I was grateful. He brought groceries, he fixed the leaking tap, he hugged me longer than usual. And then he brought his wife Linda. Linda never liked me. She smiled with her lips but never with her eyes. She would walk around the house like she was inspecting damage. "Dad, you shouldn't live alone anymore," Eric said one evening. "You forget things. What if something happens?" "I'm fine," I replied. "I've lived here longer than you've been alive." Linda leaned forward. "We're worried about your safety. Maybe you should move in with us." I should have heard the trap in her voice. But loneliness makes you trust the wrong people. 2 weeks later, they came with documents. "It's just power of attorney," Eric said. "In case of emergency." I hesitated. Linda slid the papers closer. "It's only for legal safety, Dad. We'd never hurt you." So I signed. That was my mistake. Within 3 months, everything changed. They stopped visiting. My electricity bill was unpaid. My bank account was suddenly smaller. Then one morning, I found a notice taped to my door. "Property under transfer." My heart nearly stopped. I went to Eric's house immediately. "What is this?" I demanded, holding up the paper. Linda crossed her arms. "Dad, you can't manage the house anymore. We're selling it and putting you in a care facility." "A care facility?" I whispered. "I can walk, I can cook." Eric wouldn't look at me. "It's for your own good." Within weeks, I was moved into a small rented room across town. No garden. No memories. No apple tree. And then I heard the final blow. They listed my house for sale. My house. The one I built. The one I paid for. But what they didn't know was that I had already prepared for this day. You see, after Margaret died, I became careful. I had seen too many stories of elderly people being tricked by family. So a year earlier, I did something quietly. I transferred ownership of the house into a family trust. My name was removed as the direct owner. But here's the important part. The trustee was me. Not Eric. Not Linda. Me. And the only person who could approve a sale was me. When they put the house on the market, I waited. I said nothing. I let them feel powerful. Buyers came. Offers came. One couple even gave a deposit. Then came the day of the legal transfer. I showed up. With my lawyer. Linda froze when she saw us. "What is this?" she snapped. My lawyer placed documents on the table. "This property cannot be sold without the trustee's consent." Eric frowned. "Trustee." "That's me," I said calmly. Linda's face turned pale. "But he signed power of attorney." "Yes," my lawyer said, "but power of attorney does not override a trust." Silence filled the room. The buyer stormed out. The sale collapsed. And then, I did the second part of my plan. I revoked their power of attorney. I froze access to my accounts. And I filed a complaint for financial exploitation of an elderly person. Eric called me that night crying. "Dad, we were just trying to help." "No," I said softly, "you were trying to erase me." The court investigated. They found unpaid bills, unauthorized withdrawals, fake caregiving claims. Linda was furious. She screamed that the house was wasted on an old man. So I made my final move. I sold the house myself. Not to strangers. To a charity that converted it into housing for widows. The apple tree still stands. I visit it sometimes. And Eric. He hasn't spoken to me since. But I sleep peacefully. Because they didn't take my house. They showed me who they were. And I took back my life. Moral of the story. Never underestimate someone who has already lost everything. Because when you have nothing left, you plan carefully.